let's talk about hand size for a moment. So you brought up different products with different sizes. Just share your experience about what that means to a player.
You know, that's a really good question. A lot of people are concerned about hand size. They're working on their microphone technique, and they've convinced themselves that their hands are too small to properly cup a bullet. I certainly thought so, because guess what? Learning to cup a bullet well is hard. Learning to cup any mic well is hard. It isn't all about making a seal around the microphone. There's more to it than that. So the first thing I'll say is don't get too concerned about hand size. Choose a microphone for the other characteristics that you like, its aesthetics. Certainly its comfort to hold and play, its tone, and its price. Those are all important. However, there is a wide range of diameters in Harp microphones. The biggest I know of is the current Shure Green Bullet 520DX. If your bullet has a little black volume control knob on the bottom, that's the 520DX. Its predecessor, the 520D and 520, were a little smaller, and in fact, they are.
You actually measured those?
Yes. And then their predecessor, the 707 series, also the brown bullet, which had a different model number, but it was the same size shell. They are smaller too. And they're actually a tiny bit smaller than the JT30, which is fairly small compared to the newer Shure bullets. On the other hand, the JT30, also the Blues Blaster, which is exactly the same shell, have bumps around the grill where the screws fasten the grill onto the mic. And when you're really bearing down and squeezing hard, they can be a little uncomfortable.
Look at John Namath's interview on his equipment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What does he
He's got like what looks like a birthmark now from that little lug mount there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, I mean, what people have told me after they bought these mics, they love the tone, they sound great. I promise they sound great. Mm-hmm. But again, I will tell people honestly, you don't have to buy my mics to get great tone. What people really appreciate after they use them is how comfortable they are to play with, and you can gig with it for 4 hours. They're also, is the wood rugged? I've dropped my gig mic on concrete, I shudder to admit, but accidents happen 4 times. Fine, no problem.
You have little tick marks on your microphone.
Yeah, I should paint little airplanes on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hand size is a factor. Hand shape, but maybe more even facial shape is an important factor. We were talking earlier about the importance of getting a good cup and what it means. It means more than getting a good seal from the back of the harmonica to the front of the microphone. That is job one, and it's just as important playing acoustically if we want to get a deep wah, and we want to be able to get a really good seal. It turns out it's also really important to be able to get some of the front holes on the harmonica sealed to get good tone, to get the deepest tone, the kind of tone that I love in your playing. I know that you learned from Gary Smith. Gary has that kind of tone. When you want to get that fattest sound, you need to be able to get to this point and release it. You don't always use it that way.
The most smothered, yeah.
But even if the back of the harp is completely sealed, and you can prove this to yourself by putting a piece of masking tape over the whole back of your harmonica, air is going to go in the hole you're blowing or in all of the other holes while you're drawing, and it's going to come out all of the other holes. And the clear definition of that, I know you've shown this to your students. It's simply all I'm doing is uncovering the 9 and 10 hole, and the air that comes out there is reducing the pressure on the back, which is where the wah comes from. And more importantly, with amplified harmonica, that's what drives the element of the microphone really, really hard. And when you drive the element of the microphone hard, you're sending a distorted signal to the amplifier, which, if it's a nice tube amplifier in general, is going to respond by producing these harmonic overtones, which is where our fat sound comes from. And so developing that skill of learning to cup effectively, sealing the front and the back, it takes time. It takes developing new muscle strength and awareness, I think, and a lot of practice. But you can begin to practice acoustically, just learning to get a good deep wah, even without a microphone in your hand. Then find the microphone that you like, that feels good to you.